Joining me now, Democratic Senator Mark Udall of Colorado. Good morning, Senator.
Carol, good morning. I'm smiling because I'm thinking of my father, who was a World War II veteran, and how he would approach what's going on. But if I might, I would just say that none of us over here in the Senate are giddy about this shutdown. To the contrary, in my state, we just got hit hard by biblical rains and floods, and I'm very worried that my Coloradans aren't going to have the relief support that's necessary to help us rebuild after these floods. We get the government open, let the House vote. If there was a vote on the Senate clean funding measure, we would put the government back in operation. Then we can sit down and talk about budgets and taxes and Medicare and Social Security, but let's get the government open.
Is there any wiggle room at all? Because this meeting last night, President Obama called congressional leaders to the White House, but then supposedly he said to these congressional leaders, I'm not going to negotiate. So why even call that meeting? What kind of negotiating is that?
I think you first do have to sit down, look at each other, realize we're all in this together. I think what the president was saying was he wasn't going to negotiate on the Affordable Care Act. Look, the Supreme Court ruled it's constitutional. It was passed legitimately through the Congress. It's being implemented. I think the president was saying you can't govern if you're going to refight old battles. So let's get the government open. Let's sit down and talk about the budget and tax policy and how we strengthen Medicare and Social Security. I know the bulk of the Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, think that's the way forward.
Yeah, but that's where we are right now. There's this group of conservative Republicans, and they want something done about Obamacare. They want some sort of talks going on, some sort of delay. That's where we are now. So why not sit down with them, Mr. President, and talk it out?
They're in the distinct minority. You have one faction of one party in one house of one branch of the three branches of government that's holding up all of us. And at some point you just have to say, no, we're going to hold the line. This would set a terrible precedent, Carol, if this small group could hold the entire country hostage over a law that's already settled, that's already being implemented.
But I must say, Senator, with all due respect, that there are many Americans unhappy with Obamacare. A lot of them don't understand it, and a lot of them, frankly, don't like it.
But if you look, most Americans are willing to give it a chance. Most Americans want to see it implemented. And let's sit down and work on ways to make it even better. This group in the House wants to end Obamacare. That's basically what they're saying, is we're going to end it and delay it and eliminate it. And that's just not where we are.
Okay, well, what about this piecemeal plan that the Republicans are again going to put forth in just a few minutes, actually? They're going to say, why not fund things like, you know, clinical trials at NIH and take care of the kids? Why not go ahead and pass that sort of resolution and fund that program?
Yeah, look, that's tempting, but we're going to pick winners and losers. And then again, we set a precedent that we can piecemeal solutions in a situation where we just ought to open the government. It's very easy. The Senate sent a bill over to the House on a number of occasions. Just open the government, let the House vote. We all know that if the House voted, if it was a fair vote, it would pass by a significant margin. There would be many Republicans that would join many Democrats in the House to begin the funding of the government. Then we can sit down and talk.
But you know, this NIH and these cancer trials, House Republicans are going to use that, because I'm just going to show you an image from their coming press conference. They have an image of the Majority Leader, Senator Reid. You know, our Dana Bash asked him a question about possibly funding these clinical trials, and Senator Reid said, why would we want to do that? Now they're going to use this as a political tool against Democrats, and this is sort of where we are right now.
Yeah, I think however, it's transparent. It's playing a game. It's picking winners or losers. In Colorado, we have a national park, Rocky Mountain National Park, which is the key to the recovery of Estes Park, which was hit so hard by these floods. I chair that subcommittee in the Senate, the National Parks Subcommittee. I want to get that park reopened, but not while being held hostage, not while having a gun held to our heads. This would set a terrible precedent for the future, and it would let a small group continue to hold us hostage whenever they thought that was a tactic that was useful and appropriate. It isn't. Let's fully fund the government, then let's sit down and talk.
And Senator Udall, I have to ask you this question just in fairness, because I've asked this of Republicans. Are you your paycheck?
I am. Here's how I've structured how we should move ahead. Look, I'm one of 40,000 federal employees in Colorado. I'm honored to be a federal employee. If the federal employees in Colorado aren't paid, I will donate my paycheck to charity.
Senator Udall, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks,
we appreciate it.